When the state senator's wife walked into Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom thinking her husband's political power made her untouchable, she made the catastrophic mistake of threatening a sitting judge on live television. What happened next would not only destroy her arrogance, but end a 12-year political career and create the biggest corruption scandal to ever hit the Rhode Island State House. This story shows us what happens when state-level political privilege collides with judicial independence. When someone mistakes their spouse's Senate seat for unlimited legal immunity, and when a senator's wife discovers that threatening a judge is the fastest way to transform her husband from rising political star to disgraced former office holder. But before we dive into this unprecedented political meltdown, less than 1% of you watching are actually subscribed. So please hit that subscribe button, because this story about state political corruption and the consequences of threatening judicial authority deserves to reach everyone who needs to understand that no elected position, no matter how powerful, protects you from the law. It's a cold Tuesday morning in late January, and Providence Municipal Court is handling its usual docket of municipal violations and traffic infractions. The winter air outside carries the bitter chill of New England winter, but inside the courtroom, the temperature is about to become absolutely frigid with political ice. At exactly 9:45 a.m., the courtroom doors open with deliberate authority, and through them strides Jennifer Sullivan, the 44-year-old wife of Rhode Island State Senator David Sullivan. Jenny moves with the calculated confidence of someone who has spent 12 years as a political spouse, learning exactly how much power her husband's position grants her in everyday situations. She's dressed in a custom-tailored business suit that screams political wife attending important functions. Her diamond jewelry is tasteful but obviously expensive, each piece carefully chosen to signal wealth and status without appearing gaudy. Her designer handbag probably costs more than the average Rhode Island family spends on groceries in 3 months. And her entire presence radiates the entitlement that comes from a dozen years of watching doors open, restaurant reservations appear, and parking tickets vanish simply because of who her husband is. Jenny is here because 6 weeks ago she received 3 citations for parking violations in downtown Providence. The violations occurred over a 2-week period in December, all in restricted zones during the holiday shopping season. The combined fines total $450 plus court costs. But Jenny isn't here to pay these fines. She's here because she believes that being married to a state senator who chairs the Judiciary Committee should automatically exempt her from municipal parking enforcement. What it must Jenny doesn't realize is that she's about to face a judge who has maintained absolute independence from political pressure for 38 years, who personally knows her husband from legislative testimony, and who has zero tolerance for political families who believe state office grants them immunity from local law. As Jenny approaches the defendant's stand, her body language projects supreme confidence bordering on arrogance. She doesn't carry herself like someone facing legal proceedings. She carries herself like someone attending a minor inconvenience that will be resolved as soon as everyone remembers who she's married to. Her expression suggests she expects recognition, acknowledgement, and immediate deference. Jennifer Sullivan, the court clerk, announces reading from the docket. Jenny steps forward with the bearing of someone accustomed to preferential treatment in every aspect of public life. She glances around the courtroom with the subtle superiority of someone mentally cataloging who recognizes her political status. Judge Caprio looks up from his paperwork with the experienced eye of someone who has handled hundreds of cases involving politically connected defendants over nearly 4 decades. He recognizes Jenny immediately, not just from local news coverage, but from previous encounters with Senator Sullivan in legislative settings. His expression gives nothing away. Mrs. Sullivan, Judge Caprio begins his voice carrying the measured authority of 38 years of absolute judicial independence from political influence. You're charged with 3 parking violations. First violation, parking in a loading zone on December 8th. Second violation, parking in a handicapped space without proper designation on December 15th. And third violation, blocking a fire hydrant on December 19th. The combined fines are $450 plus court costs. How do you plead? Jenny's response immediately establishes that this will not be a routine municipal case, Your Honor. Jenny says, her voice carrying the practiced tone of someone accustomed to explaining political realities to people who don't understand how power actually works. I'm pleading not guilty to all charges because these citations represent a fundamental failure by parking enforcement to recognize the operational requirements of state political leadership and the practical necessities of legislative family obligations. Judge Caprio sets down his pen deliberately. That careful gesture that signals he's about to engage with something that requires his full attention. Mrs. Sullivan, can you clarify what you mean by operational requirements of state political leadership? Your Honor, as the wife of State Senator David Sullivan, who chairs the Senate Judiciary Committee, I have responsibilities that require flexibility in parking arrangements. I was conducting essential errands related to my husband's legislative duties and his upcoming committee work. These weren't personal shopping trips. The courtroom becomes noticeably quiet. Several regulars. Court observers lean forward, sensing something significant developing. Mrs. Sullivan, Judge Caprio continues his tone, remaining professionally neutral. Do you hold any official position with the Rhode Island State Senate or state government? Jenny's confident expression doesn't waver. No, Your Honor, but as a senator's wife, particularly one who chairs a major committee, I serve in a vital, unofficial capacity, supporting legislative work and representing our district at important community functions. That support role requires operational flexibility that parking enforcement failed to accommodate.